Good evening, everyone. So for tonight's delight is, I'll just let you guys see it for yourself. Hopefully you can read that or you recognize the label. It is a La Cava del Porto, La Cava del Porto Plata. So this evening we're going to be discussing how it's legal for the government to lie to you, but it's illegal for you to lie to the government. So let's get things first in order. So everybody simple. The government lies are also, however, harder to regulate than other kinds. The courts have almost unequivocally rejected the idea that constitutional law should do anything to constrain the government's capacity to lie. The result is that what mechanism exists to limit government lying, whistleblower laws, right of information statutes, norms or forbidding political interference with bureaucracy practices are entirely a product of legislative invention of institutional self-regulation. Okay. Now, which kind of really inspired me or motivated me to do this video this evening, because I wasn't going to do one this evening, was this very book right here. Are you guys familiar with this book by Amos Wilson? It's The Falsification of African Consciousness, the Eurocentric History, Psychiatry, and the Politics of White Supremacy. Now, I'm not going to read a lot here, so don't worry about someone trying to read you to death. But there's something important in here that really motivated me to really do this video tonight. It says here on page 24, a very interesting admission. Many have heard me say that Europeans, and when they mean by Europeans, they mean worldwide, okay? Not those people just in Europe, who comprise 10% of the world's population. I want you guys to think about this. Who comprise 10% of the world's population can only rule over the 90%. They can only rule over 90% by lying, by deceit, and by force. This is why you see in melanated countries, you see hostile takeover of European forces, where they're mostly talking about it are white people, no matter what country you're in, how they do hostile takeovers or they start fighting from within. I read a famous quote that Hitler said while he was essentially taking over Germany, that the best way to defeat an enemy is to have them to destroy themselves within. So essentially you start the fire and then you blame somebody else who's not in the vicinity, but you may have some evidence, you may have some pieces you can put together in order to frame them. And the more I read this book, the more that I analyze history, the more I know that Black people in general have been sabotaged. And I know you guys know this, but bear with me. It states here, the only way that we can be in the condition that we are in as a people is to believe the lies. And it made me think about the diaspora wars that's going on right now against Caribbeans and Africans and Black Americans, right? Everybody is protecting their own culture, especially foundational Black Americans. We never really started diaspora wars. It was mostly, I linked a clip back from New Jack City, where even the Africans in that movie, and I think New Jack City came out in what, the 90s, where the Africans was calling, in that movie, was calling Black Americans Akatas, right? So it just really boggles my mind that this book, I forgot the year that was published, that we are believing the lies that the system of white supremacy and those who have had us in bondage and who have colonized not only our bodies, but also our minds, that the only way that they can rule over us, 10% of them, and we're 90% of the world's population, is that we believe their lies. See, when I look at other melanated people from the continent of Africa and as well as the Caribbean, and they believe the lies of white supremacy when they come to America, this makes this book 100% true. Let me read on. Again, it says the only way that we can be in the conditions that we are in as a people is to believe lies. Our mentality has been reserved and our behavior made backwards because we take the lie for the truth and the truth for a lie. I want you to think about this because when I was living in Washington State, I was astonished that a lot of the Black people there did not know of prominent Black engineers, prominent Black inventors, prominent Black medical personnel. Like, they only knew Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver, Malcolm X, like, for the most part. They didn't know about Elijah McCoy, who made many inventions for the railroad, okay, who even coined the term the real McCoy. They didn't know about Vivian Thomas, the one who created a procedure to cure the blue baby syndrome. Okay, so we have all of these medical and engineering and technological feats that even our own people are not aware of, because the only time that we, I guess, study Black history is the month that the system has given us. It's February, which is ironic because we all know that's the shortest month in the 12-month calendar. But let me go a little bit further here. This is very important because this is how the government run the people. I want you guys to read this with me. It says, how is the government run by people? Because here's the thing. A lot of you believe that the government, you believe that you have power, right? And I keep trying to educate people. This is very simple. You don't have any power. Once you vote, you don't have any power at all. I continue to hear president, I continue to hear congressmen and women, I continue to hear senators, I continue to hear representatives and lobbyists state that this is a democracy, which is a big fat lie. This country is not a democracy. Good evening, Jermaine Anderson, as well as D. General. Nice to see you guys. Oh, it was on the Sugar Hill game. Thank you. Okay, the Sugar Hill. Thank you. That's what Wesley Snipes was on. Okay, thank you. This country is not a democracy, but it states here that a democracy, meaning rule of people, is a system of government in which the citizens exercise power directly or elect representatives from among themselves to form a governing body such as a parliament. It also states that a democracy is sometimes referred to as the rule of the majority. Question for you guys. When is the last time that you voted for someone without being influenced by that party? When is the last time you voted for someone because you had the opportunity to sit down with that representative while they was running for office? Or did you get your talking points? Did you get their legislation and policies from whatever news source that you adhere to? When is the last time? When is the last time you went to a town hall and you asked them the hard questions and they actually had answers? When is the time? Because Every politician I've ever heard, doesn't matter which party, they keep continuing to say that this government is a democracy. And I've stated this before. It has tenets, it has elements, it has branches of being a democracy, but the root, the core, and the heart of this government is a republic. It's a republic. Let me show you. Republic, according to the Britannica, form of government in which a state is ruled by representatives of the citizen body. It says modern republics are founded on the idea that sovereignty rests with the people. Okay? With it look, again, it rests with the idea. Though who is included and excluded from the category of the people has varied across history. Because citizens do not govern the state themselves, but through representatives. Republics may be distinguished from direct democracy through modern representative democracies are by and large republics. Let me say it again. It says republics may be distinguished from direct democracy through, though modern representative democracies are by and large republics. Hopefully I'm not losing anybody here. Let me go back. And it states here that a democracy is ruled by the people. And then it goes on to say it exercises power directly or elect representatives from among themselves, from a governing body. Now, I didn't do this, but I'll do this for you because evidently a lot of us, we are familiar with the Constitution. But what does the Constitution says? Because that is the sacred document that supposedly that this government, that this country was built on, the founding fathers and the Constitution. And I'm just trying to get to the nitty-gritty of how this country was created and built upon. How is legislation decided in a constitutional republic? A constitutional republic is a state where the chief executive and representatives are elected and the rules are set down in a written constitution. How is legislation decided in a constitutional republic? A constitutional republic is a state where the chief executive, commander-in-chief, the president, and representative, those people of his cabinet and Congress, are elected. And the rules are set down in a written constitution. Let me go a step further. Let me go a step further. Give me 1 second, family. Bear with me. Because I want you to see it for yourself, because you keep hearing that we live in a democracy. And I want to make sure we get to the meat and potatoes. Okay? All right, here we go right here, family. Right to the heart of all things. And again, if you see the source here, you see that it says constitution.congress.gov, correct? So this is coming from the federal government themselves as they are quoting and stating the Constitution of the United States of America. It states that the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union, it shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government. Are you with me? Are you guys with me? The United States shall guarantee to every state in the union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of legislature or the executive against domestic violence. So this is coming from the constitution.congress.gov, and they're stating that every state in the union is a republican form of government. We're going somewhere here, family, because if every state in the union, which constitutes the United States of America, is a republican form of government, then ask yourself this question. Because we have a lot of powerful voices, we have a lot of powerful people on both sides of the political parties, the two major political parties here in America, the Democrats as well as the Republicans. But ask yourself this question. If every state in the union is a republican form of government, then why do political figures state that is a democracy? And should the government ever be solely ran by Democrats, or should the government be solely ran by Republicans? Should it ever be to a point where you can elect, you can run the Senate, you can run the House, and you can have the presidency all with one political party, where you only may need one or two votes from another party? So in this instance, the Democrats are in control and operate the presidency, the Senate, and the House. They have majority. And to pass legislation, they may need one or two Republicans in order to get things going. So your commander-in-chief, yep, I said it right, your commander-in-chief said a particular statement to a group of people, and no one saw that as alarming. Like, no one read any flags, because when you state that 87% of a particular population, the black community that is, voted for a person, voted for a guy who totally disrespected the entire people, and we overlooked it. And I know what some of you may say. Ross, what is your political affiliation? As I told many, many people before, I'm apolitical. I'm neither Democrat nor Republican, but I do point out the flaws. I do point out those things that should alert us when particular people and parties are in charge. Let me see what the people are saying right now. I see we got Stonks and Chomps. Nice to see you. Stonks says conservatives call it a constitutional republic. Excuse me. And liberals call it a democratic republic. Both mean the same damn thing. Where most get it wrong is people to think that it's the majority of the people's vote are what makes laws, but it's not true. It's the majority of representatives' votes that make it law. Thank you. And I've stated this before. If this was a true democracy, let me go back. If this was a true democracy, family, that means that every law, every bill, the people will have the opportunity to vote. Again, democracy meaning rule of the people, not rule of the representatives, not rule of the cabinet that was appointed by Joe Biden, not rule of the cabinet that was appointed by Donald Trump before everybody left. Those are the facts, family. I want you guys to think about something else here. If the police lie on one of their police statements, police reports, of course, that's a form of falsifying documents. Majority of the time that police wrongs a person, treats a person unjustly, abuses a person, kills a person, murder a person, they plant evidence on people. What's the outside of them going to jail, which rarely happens because of qualified immunity, outside of them going to jail, which is 1 in a million, what usually occurs to that police officer? Now that social media is on the forefront of everybody's television and cell phone, at one point in time, these police officers would get a citation within their police records. Now, the only thing that they destroy people's lives and put people away for 20 and 30 years, the only thing that happened to these police officers, they get fired. They get fired for not doing their job well, but they destroy people's lives. But let me show you something very, very quickly here. I had this already up, but give me 1 second. Let's see here. Here we go. But when you lie to the government, this is the charges that will come against you. It says, what is lying to the government called? Most commonly, prosecutors use the statute to reach cover-up crimes such as perjury, false declarations, and obstruction of justice and government fraud cases. These are federal crimes that are felonies that will land you in jail and be fined for a very, very long time. And don't forget, no matter the level of law enforcement, all law enforcement agents, all police officers, they are controlled and ruled by some form of government. There is no police force in America that's independent. Now, some of you may say, well, my bail bondsman. No. I'm talking about actual law enforcement agents that is controlled by their local municipality, their locals like, state, and also any federal government agencies, the alphabet boys, 3 or 4 letters. They're controlled by some government entity. And they put a clause because they understand that law enforcement agents will make mistakes. Even though their mistakes are more deadlier than you making a mistake or you trying to get off, maybe you stole something out of Walmart and you lied about it, but they got you on videotape. So they get you for theft, they get you for, obstruction of justice or perjury, whatever the cases may be. They somehow, I've never seen anyone go to jail off of one charge. Even in murder trials, there's always these adjacent charges that they trump up on your record. You never just go to jail off of one charge. If you were speeding, right? So they got, you was 20 miles per hour, whatever the speed limit. So there you go. You broke the speeding law. And then 2, they would say, public endangerment. They always get you with more than one charge. But what happened to government officials? What happens to law enforcement? They usually step down and they usually just get fired. You guys remember Hillary Clinton? Remember all the emails she had stored on her personal computer? Remember the term Crooked Hillary? Where did Crooked Hillary go? She didn't go to jail. She didn't go to prison. And she wasn't even president. I want you really to think about how this next voting cycle that we come upon, that we are really thinking intuitively of your best interests. Because first and foremost, your vote should be for you. Secondly, your vote should be for your family. And then thirdly, your vote should be whatever group you support. And that's just my conjecture about it. That's my opinion, of course. But that's why I think our mind should be. Because when you look at Fox News, the only thing they do is demonize Democrats. When you look at CNN and MSNBC, the only thing they do is demonize Republicans. So how are you actually getting the news? And here's another thing. We have agencies. There are straw men for these political parties. We all know that Fox News are the straw men for the Republicans. We all know that CNN are the straw men for the Democratic Party. And it amazes me how these private public news medias can get away with propagandizing their information, and they understand how powerful the sector of media is, because if you can grab someone's attention, you can influence them and you can have them to do your bidding. I want you to think about how powerful the media is and how it has influenced you year after year of how you should vote and pretty much live your entire life. Conservatives call it a constitutional republic. Okay, we went over that one right there. Where most get it wrong is people think that a majority of people's votes are what makes law, but that's not true. I didn't want to be here long tonight. Again, I think was a very powerful book, and I know a lot of people don't like reading nowadays, but family, look how small this book is. But within this book is very, very powerful information that will, in my opinion, deprogram your mind the way you think about certain things. Because far too long, we have been allowing the government on both sides of the coin to lie to us and get away with it. You guys have heard the term over and over again. No one is above the law. The question that you should be asking, who is above the government, is definitely not the people. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You guys have a good night.